In a world overflowing with noise, distraction has become the new normal. Every second, a notification demands your attention. Every minute, a new message pulls you away from what matters, and every hour slips away without you even realizing it. And yet, in this same world, there are men and women who rise above the chaos, who create masterpieces, build empires, and leave legacies. What is their secret? It is not talent alone, not luck, not even hard work in the traditional sense. Their secret is focus. Their weapon is deep work. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like a muscle. Every time you give in to distraction, every time you scroll endlessly, you weaken that muscle. But every time you resist, every time you sit down and commit to deep concentration, you strengthen it. Just like the strongest athletes train their bodies, the most successful people train their minds. They understand that focus is a currency of success, and deep work is how you spend it. Think about history's greatest achievements. From inventions of Thomas Edison to the writings of great philosophers, from groundbreaking scientific discoveries to the masterpieces of literature and art, none of it was created in chaos. It was born from silence, from solitude, from uninterrupted hours of concentration. The truth is, the world rewards depth. Shallow effort leads to shallow results, but deep effort creates work that cannot be ignored. Now pause and reflect. How much of your life is lived on the surface? How often do you start something but never finish because distraction pulls you away? How often do you intend to read, to create, to build, but instead you scroll, you switch, you lose yourself in noise? That is the silent tragedy of modern life. But here's the good news. You are not trapped. You can reclaim your focus. You can retrain your brain. You can step out of distraction's grip and enter the rare state where magic happens. Deep work. Deep work is not just about productivity. It is about meaning. When you focus deeply on a task, you don't just complete it. You connect with it. You become fully present. Hours pass like minutes, and the quality of what you produce astonishes even you. That is flow. That is mastery. And mastery is what separates the extraordinary from the average. Picture yourself working on a project. The phone is on silent. No tabs are open. No interruptions allowed. At first, your mind resists, craving the quick hit of dopamine from distraction. But you push through. 10 minutes, then 30, then an hour. Suddenly, you're lost in the work. The ideas are flowing. The world outside disappears. That moment, that immersion, is where breakthroughs are born. It is where your best self lives. Ask yourself, what could you achieve if you lived more of your life in this state? How much could you learn, create, or build if you train your mind to dive deep every single day? Think about the skills you've always wanted to master, the dreams you've always postponed. They are not out of reach. They are simply waiting for you to reclaim your focus. But let us not pretend it will be easy. The modern world is designed to steal your attention. Billion-dollar companies compete for every second of your time. The moment you wake up, your phone is ready to hijack your day. Emails, texts, headlines, updates, they all scream for you. And most people surrender. But you are not most people. You are here because you want more. You want to master your mind, not be mastered by it. That requires courage. That requires discipline. That requires you to build the rare ability to work deeply while the world swims in distraction. Deep work is not about working longer hours. It is about working with intensity. 2 hours of true focus can accomplish more than 10 hours of half-distracted effort. That is why deep workers rise above. While the average person is busy being busy, they are busy being effective. While the average person reacts to every notification, they create things that last. This is your challenge. To step into a life of depth, to decide today that you will not live on the surface anymore. You will not waste your life on shallow distractions. You will choose deep work, because deep work is a path to greatness. Remember, your attention is your life. Whatever you give it to grows. If you give it to noise, you grow chaos. If you give it to focus, you grow excellence. 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, your results will be the sum of how you spent your attention. Did you waste it or did you invest it? That choice begins now. So take a deep breath. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine your best future self. What are they built? What skills do they command? What life have they created? That version of you is not born from distraction. That version of you is born from deep, focused effort. And every day, every hour, every choice you make can move you closer to that future or further away. The clock is ticking. Your life is happening right now. Will you continue drifting in shallow waters, or will you dive deep into the ocean of focus where true treasures lie? The world will always try to distract you, but greatness belongs to those who can resist. And if you can master deep work, then no matter how noisy the world becomes, your light will shine brighter than ever. The battle for your attention is the battle for your future. Every time you give in to distraction, you hand over a piece of your destiny. But every time you resist, you reclaim your power. Deep work is not just a method. It is a rebellion against a world that profits from your weakness, a stand against the addiction of shallow living. Most people believe success comes from working harder. They measure their days by hours, their worth by how busy they look. But look closer. True greatness has never come from busyness. It comes from depth. The sculptor does not create beauty by swinging his hammer at random. He shapes with patience, with focus, with care. The writer does not craft masterpieces by typing endlessly. He does it by diving deep into the rhythm of thought. The inventor does not change the world by jumping from idea to idea. He does it by committing to one problem until a solution appears. Busyness is the enemy of depth. It fools you into thinking you are moving forward, when in truth, you are only running in circles. Shallow work, the endless emails, the constant scrolling, the quick tasks, keeps you busy but never makes you great. Deep work, on the other hand, pulls you into a state where time slows down, creativity flourishes, and real progress is made. Think about the greatest athletes, the strongest minds, the most brilliant creators. They all share one secret: the ability to enter the zone where nothing else exists but the task before them. That is not talent. That is training. They have built the muscle of focus. They have learned to ignore distraction and embrace solitude. They have discovered that isolation is not emptiness. It is a birthplace of excellence. But here's the hard truth. Deep work is uncomfortable. Your brain craves the easy hit of distraction. It wants the quick reward of a comment, a new message. That's why most people avoid it. They sit down to focus, and within minutes they reach for their phone. They run from silence because silence forces them to confront their own thoughts. And yet, it is in that very silence that transformation begins. If you can endure the discomfort of focus, you will unlock a power most people will never taste. Because the longer you resist distraction, the easier it becomes. Just like a muscle grows with training, your attention grows with practice. At first, 15 minutes of deep work feels like a struggle, but push through, and soon you'll find yourself lost in an hour, then 2, then 3. The world outside fades away, and what remains is pure creation. That is the reward of deep work. Now ask yourself, what is pulling you away from depth? What are the distractions that rob you daily? Is it your phone? Is it endless scrolling? Is it meaningless conversations, shallow tasks, unnecessary noise? You must face these honestly, because until you confront your distractions, they will own you. Awareness is the first step. Once you know your enemy, you can fight it. Begin small. Dedicate 1 hour each day to deep, undisturbed focus. Guard it fiercely. No phone, no internet, no interruptions. Just you and your work. At first, your mind will resist, but over time, you will build stamina. And that single hour of true focus will create more value than an entire day of shallow work. Deep work does not only apply to your job, it applies to your life. When you spend quality time with family, be present. When you read, dive into the words fully. When you think about your future, give it your complete attention. A distracted life is an unlived life, but focused life is a fulfilled life. Think about the people you admire most. What do they have in common? They gave themselves fully to something greater than themselves. They poured their focus into building, creating, achieving. They were not half present. They were all in. And because of that, the world remembers them. The same power lives in you. You may not see it yet, but it is there, buried under layers of distraction, waiting for you to dig it out. Deep work is a shovel. With every moment of focus, you uncover a little more of your potential. With every hour, you move closer to mastery. And here is something beautiful. When you embrace deep work, life becomes simpler. The noise fades. The endless chasing stops. Instead of running in 1,000 directions, you walk steadily in one. Instead of scattering your energy, you channel it like a laser. And that laser burns through obstacles that once seemed impossible. Do not underestimate the cost of shallow living. Years can slip away in distraction, and one day you wake up realizing you have built nothing, achieved nothing, lived nothing. That regret is heavier than any discomfort focus will ever demand. But if you choose deep work, your future self will thank you. They will look back and smile, grateful that you had the courage to resist the shallow path. So let this be a reminder. You were not born to scroll endlessly. You were not born to react to every ping and buzz. You were born to create, to learn, to build, to love deeply, to live fully. And none of that happens on the surface. It all happens in depth. From this moment forward, choose to live differently. Choose to rise above the noise. Choose to commit to the rare, powerful act of focus. Because in a world drowning in distraction, the ability to work deeply is not just valuable, it is revolutionary. And if you embrace it, you will not only change your life, you may just change the world. There's a place where time bends, where effort feels effortless, where the mind and body move as one. It is called the flow state. And if you've ever been there, you know how powerful it feels. Hours pass like minutes. Ideas spark from nowhere. Work that once seemed impossible becomes natural. This is not magic. It is a reward of deep focus. It is the gift of deep work. Think back to a time when you were so absorbed in something that you forgot everything else. The phone, the noise, even hunger and fatigue. Maybe it was while writing, painting, studying, playing a sport, or solving a problem. That was flow. In those moments, you tasted your fullest potential. But here's the truth. Flow is not an accident. It is not reserved for the lucky few. It is a skill, a state you can train your brain to enter again and again. Flow happens when challenge meets focus. If the task is too easy, your mind gets bored. If it's too hard, your mind feels anxious. But in that sweet spot, where the work stretches you just enough without breaking you, you unlock a rhythm. Your thoughts sharpen, distractions vanish, and you enter the zone. This is where greatness is born. Athletes call it being in the zone. Musicians call it being lost in the music. Writers call it the muse. But no matter the name, the essence is the same, a total merging of self and task. And in today's distracted world, those who can enter flow have a secret weapon. While others are pulled apart by noise, you'll be diving deeper, creating faster, performing better. But flow does not come to the unfocused. It demands your full attention. Every notification, every interruption, every wandering thought pulls you out of it. That's why most people never experience true flow. They never give themselves enough time or space to fall into it. Imagine trying to dive into the ocean while someone pulls you back to shore every minute. You will never reach the depths. Flow requires uninterrupted immersion. That is why deep work is the key. Once you train yourself to embrace long stretches of undisturbed focus, you begin to notice something extraordinary. The world inside you comes alive. Your creativity blossoms. Ideas you never thought you would begin to appear. Connections form in your mind. Solutions reveal themselves. Inspiration flows like water. It feels like magic, but it's not. It's your brain finally operating at its highest potential. Ask yourself, what could you create if you lived more of your life in flow? How many books could you write? How many businesses could you build? How many skills could you master? Flow is where excellence lives, and the door to it is unlocked through deep work. The greatest creators throughout history lived in this state. Michelangelo, painting the Sistine Chapel, spent years lost in his craft. Einstein, scribbling equations, would forget to eat. Writers like Hemingway and philosophers like Nietzsche would isolate themselves for hours, emerging with ideas that shaped the world. These were not accidents. They deliberately built lives that protected their focus, because they knew that in flow they were unstoppable. But let's be clear, reaching flow requires sacrifice. You must give up the comfort of shallow entertainment. You must be willing to sit through the discomfort of silence. You must resist the temptation of quick distractions. Flow is a treasure, but it only reveals itself to those who are disciplined enough to go looking for it. The journey begins with intention. Before you start, tell yourself, this is my time for depth. For the next hour, nothing exists but the work before me. Put away your phone. Close every tab. Remove every possible interruption. At first, your mind will fight. It will crave escape, but push through. Soon, the resistance fades and the rhythm takes over. That is when flow begins. And here's the beauty. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Flow is addictive, but in the best way. Once you've tasted it, shallow distractions lose their flavor. Why waste hours scrolling when you could be building, creating, mastering? Why chase shallow pleasures when you felt the deeper joy of creation? Flow replaces emptiness with fulfillment. Even science confirms this. Studies show that people in flow report higher happiness, deeper satisfaction, and greater purpose. It is not just about getting more done. It's about living more fully. When you are in flow, you are aligned with yourself. You are not split between tasks. You are whole. That wholeness is rare in today's fragmented world. That is why flow feels so powerful. But remember, flow is fragile. One distraction, one interruption, and it collapses. Protect it fiercely. Let the world wait. The message can be answered later. The notification can wait. But the chance to create something extraordinary cannot. Every minute you defend your focus, you defend your future. Now imagine this. You begin to build your life around deep work. Every day, you carve out hours for focus. Slowly, your ability to enter flow sharpens. You start creating work that surprises even you. You learn faster, build stronger, perform better. While others are drowning in shallow waters, you are swimming freely in the ocean of flow. And in that ocean, you find treasures they will never see. This is not just about achievement. It is about identity. The more time you spend in flow, the more you become the person you were meant to be. Not scattered, not distracted, not shallow, but deep, focused, and alive. That version of you is waiting. Flow is the bridge. Deep work is a path. The choice is yours. You can live like most people, pulled in 1,000 directions, never truly present, always half distracted. Or you can live like the rare few, focused, creative, immersed, fulfilled. Life will pass either way. The question is, will you let it pass in shallow distraction, or will you dive deep and create something that lasts? Because in the end, the measure of a life is not how many times you were busy. It is how many times you were fully alive. And to be fully alive, you must enter the depth. You must embrace the flow. You must commit to deep work. Greatness is never built in a single moment of inspiration. It is built through discipline, through consistency, through showing up again and again, even when you don't feel like it. Deep work is not a switch you flip when it's convenient. It is a lifestyle, a commitment to yourself, a promise that you will not waste your potential on shallow living. Discipline is what transforms intention into reality. Anyone can dream, anyone can plan, but only the disciplined take those dreams and turn them into something real. Discipline is doing the work when distractions tempt you, when comfort calls you, when the world whispers that it doesn't matter. Discipline is your shield against chaos. It is the force that allows you to build habits strong enough to carry you through resistance. Consistency is a companion of discipline. One day of focus is good, but one day will not change your life. 1 hour of deep work is valuable, but 1 hour will not create mastery. Mastery comes from repetition, from carving focus into the fabric of your days. Like drops of water carving stone, small acts of discipline, repeated daily, shape your destiny. Think of the greatest musicians. They don't practice only when they feel inspired. They practice every day, rain or shine. Think of the greatest athletes. They don't train only when they are motivated. They train every day, whether they are tired or energized. Think of the greatest thinkers and creators. Their masterpieces were not the result of one spark of brilliance, but thousands of hours of consistent, disciplined focus. The truth is, motivation will fail you. It is fragile, fleeting, unpredictable. Discipline is stronger. Discipline says, I will work whether I feel like it or not. Motivation is a mood. Discipline is a choice. And when you build your life on discipline, you don't wait for inspiration. You create it. Ask yourself, how often have you started something with excitement, only to quit when it became hard? How many times have you promised yourself to focus, only to surrender to distraction after a few minutes? This is the gap between intention and discipline. And the only way to close it is to act consistently until focus becomes who you are. At first, discipline feels heavy. Your mind resists. Your body protests. Distraction seduces you with ease. But every time you push through, you grow stronger. Every time you sit down to focus, even when you don't want to, you add a brick to the foundation of your greatness. Over time, the weight becomes lighter, and the act of deep work becomes natural. What once felt like sacrifice becomes freedom. Consistency is what compounds your effort. One day of deep work may not change much, but 10 days, 30 days, a year, the results become undeniable. Imagine dedicating just 2 hours a day to true focus. In a week, that's 14 hours. In a month, 60 hours. In a year, over 700 hours of deep, undistracted progress. 700 hours could mean a new language mastered, a book written, a business built, a skill perfected. That is the power of consistency. The world is full of people who start strong, but never finish. Be different. Finish what you start. Show up every day. Create a rhythm that the world cannot break. When others quit, keep going. When others surrender, stand firm. Because success does not belong to the one who begins. It belongs to the one who endures. But discipline is not about punishment. It is not about making life joyless. True discipline is about freedom. When you are disciplined, you are free from the chains of distraction. You are free from regret. You are free from the pain of wasted potential. Discipline gives you control over your time, your mind, your future. It is the key that unlocks the door to a life of meaning. Think of your future self. The person you will be 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. What do they need from you today? They don't need another hour wasted on shallow distractions. They don't need another day lost to procrastination. They need you to show up. They need you to be disciplined. They need you to build the habits that will carry them into greatness. Every day, you have a choice to act with discipline or to surrender to ease. And every choice writes your future. One choice may seem small, but choices add up. Every time you choose focus over distraction, discipline over weakness, consistency over chaos, you are shaping yourself into someone stronger, someone greater. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for inspiration. Start now. Pick one thing that matters and commit to it. Show up today, show up tomorrow, and keep showing up until the world cannot ignore the work you've built. Remember, deep work is not something you do once. It is who you become. A disciplined person, a consistent person, a focused person. And when you become that, success is no longer a question of if. It is only a question of when. Your future is being written right now. Every moment you choose discipline. Every day you choose consistency. Every hour you choose deep work. You are writing a story that will outlast you. And when you look back, you will not regret the time you spent building. You will regret the time you wasted drifting. So rise. Train your mind. Master your habits. Commit to the path of discipline and consistency. Because when you do, you will unlock a power that few will ever know. You will create work that matters. You will live a life without regret. And you will prove once and for all that greatness is not given. It is built one focused moment at a time. The world has never been louder than it is today. Every moment, something calls for your attention. Notifications, messages, endless videos, breaking news, advertisements designed to steal your focus, voices competing to be heard above the noise. Your phone vibrates, your email pings, your mind is pulled in 100 directions. Distraction has become the default, and focus has become rare. But what is rare has always been valuable, and in this world, Focus is a superpower. You must understand, every distraction comes with a cost. It is not free. Every time you give into it, you pay with your attention, with your time, with your potential. A few seconds here, a few minutes there, but add them up and you lose hours, days, years of your life to shallow interruptions that never really mattered. You think you are in control, but slowly, the noise controls you. The danger of distraction is not just that it wastes your time, it reshapes your brain. The more you surrender to it, the harder it becomes to focus. The circuits of your mind adapt to quick hits of novelty, to shallow bursts of stimulation. You crave the next notification, the next update, the next scroll. And soon, deep work feels impossible, because your mind has forgotten how to stay still, how to resist, how to dig deep. But here lies your power. You are not helpless. You can reclaim your focus. You can build defenses against the noise. You can train your mind to choose depth over shallowness, clarity over chaos, mastery over mediocrity. The first step is awareness. Most people live distracted lives because they never pause to see it. They don't realize how often they reach for their phone without thinking, how many times they check their email, how easily they allow themselves to be interrupted. Start noticing. Pay attention to how you spend your attention. Awareness breaks the spell. Then comes the discipline and control. You must learn to guard your focus like it is treasure, because it is. Silence the notifications. Create boundaries around your time. Choose intentional moments to connect with the world, instead of being chained to constant updates. Technology is a tool. Do not let it become your master. Resisting distraction also means designing your environment for focus. If your phone sits glowing beside you, whispering for your attention, eventually you will give in. Remove the temptation. Put it away. Work in spaces that invite focus. Spaces where your mind can breathe without constant interruption. A chaotic environment breeds a chaotic mind. A focused environment builds a focused life. But distraction is not only external. The deeper distraction comes from within. Your own restless thoughts, your own wandering mind, your own craving for escape when the work gets hard. You may silence your phone, but how do you silence the noise inside? The answer is practice. Focus is like a muscle. Every time you notice your mind drifting and bring it back, you are training that muscle. Every moment of resistance makes you stronger. This is why deep work feels uncomfortable at first. Your mind fights it. It seeks escape. But if you stay, if you resist the urge to run, you build endurance. Slowly, the discomfort fades and focus becomes natural. What once felt like struggle becomes flow. And when you enter that flow, the world disappears. Time bends. Your thoughts sharpen. You create at a level that feels almost beyond you. That is a reward of resisting distraction. The gift of pure presence. The joy of true creation. Remember this. Distraction is easy, but easy never made anyone great. Distraction is comfortable, but comfort never built anything worth remembering. Every time you resist distraction, you're saying yes to your future, yes to your growth, yes to the life you are capable of living. Every time you give in, you are saying yes to shallowness, yes to regret, yes to wasted potential. Ask yourself, which yes do you want to live with? The truth is, most people will never resist. They will scroll, they will click, they will waste their lives in shallow pools of noise. And that is why the few who choose differently rise above. They are the ones who stand out. They are the ones who master their craft, who build legacies, who leave their mark. Because in a distracted world, focus is not just a skill, it is a competitive advantage. Think of it this way. If everyone around you is giving only fragments of their attention and you give your full attention, who do you think will rise faster? If others are pulled in 100 directions and you move in one clear direction, who do you think will reach their goals first? Your focus makes you unstoppable in a world addicted to distraction. But resisting distraction is not just about success. It is about peace. Distraction leaves you scattered, restless, unsatisfied. Focus leaves you grounded, clear, fulfilled. When you give yourself fully to one task, one moment, one creation, you feel alive in a way that constant noise can never provide. Depth is not just a path to achievement. It is a path to joy. So decide. Choose to live differently. Choose to resist. Build habits that protect your focus. Create rituals that anchor you in deep work. Train your mind to sit with difficulty, to endure silence, to push through boredom, to reject the easy escape. Every time you do, you strengthen your power. And when the noise calls, and it will always call, you will smile because you know you no longer belong to it. You belong to your work. You belong to your purpose. You belong to the life you are building, the life that requires your full attention, the life that will make all the resistance worth it. Distraction may be everywhere, but so is your strength. And the one who resists the noise, the one who chooses depth, is the one who wins, not just in work, but in life. Greatness is not born in chaos. It is born in structure. If you wait for the perfect mood, the perfect moment, the perfect burst of inspiration, you will spend your life waiting. Deep work is not about waiting. Deep work is about building. And what you build are rituals and systems that carry you forward, even when willpower runs dry, even when your mind seeks escape. Rituals are signals to your brain. They whisper, "It is time to focus now." They tell your mind to switch gears, to leave the shallow world behind and step into the world of depth. Think of an athlete who ties his shoes before running, or a musician who tunes her instrument before playing. These small acts are not just practical, they are psychological. They prime the mind for performance. What is your ritual for deep work? It could be as simple as making a cup of coffee, lighting a candle, or putting on headphones. It could be closing the door, setting a timer, or opening a specific notebook. The act itself matters less than the meaning you attach to it. When repeated, it becomes a doorway. The moment you perform it, your brain understands. It is time to go deep. But rituals alone are not enough. You need systems, structures that protect your focus, guide your time, and make deep work a habit instead of a struggle. A system is not about forcing yourself to rely on constant motivation. A system is about designing your life in a way that makes focus the default. Start with your schedule. Deep work needs a home, a sacred space in your day where nothing else intrudes. Don't leave it to chance. Don't say, "I'll do it when I find time." You will never find time. You must make time. Block it on your calendar. Protect it fiercely and treat it as non-negotiable. Even if it is just 1 hour, make it consistent. Consistency creates rhythm, and rhythm creates progress. Then build boundaries around that time. Let others know you are unavailable. Silence the noise. Close the doors. If possible, work in a space where no one can interrupt you. And if interruptions come, handle them firmly. Deep work is fragile. One break in concentration, and it can take you 20 minutes or more to fully return. Respect your focus enough to guard it. Another system is preparation. Distraction thrives when you don't know what to do next. So decide ahead of time. Before your deep work session, write down your goal. Be clear, specific, simple. Don't sit down with a vague idea of, "I'll work on something." Sit down with clarity. I will write 3 pages. I will solve these problems. I will design this chapter. When your mind knows exactly where to aim, it wastes less energy wandering. Environment is another system. Think of your workspace as a stage. When you step onto it, your role is clear. You are here to perform. Keep it clean, uncluttered, free of distraction. Surround yourself only with what you need. Every object within reach should serve your purpose. A messy environment whispers chaos to your brain. A clear environment whispers focus. Rituals and systems also create momentum. The hardest part deep work is starting. But once you begin, once you cross the threshold, momentum carries you. This is why your ritual matters. It lowers the resistance of starting. And once your system is in motion, the discipline of consistency takes over. Day after day, session after session, the work compounds, and what once felt difficult begins to feel natural. Think of building rituals and systems as building a fortress. Outside, the world is loud, chaotic, demanding. Inside, you are safe. Inside, you are free to focus. Inside, you own your time. Your fortress is not built in a day. It is built brick by brick, through small choices, small habits, repeated with care. Over time, it becomes unshakable. But remember, rituals and systems are not cages. They are freedom. They are not meant to trap you. They are meant to release you from chaos. They take away the constant decision-making, the exhausting battle with distraction. Instead of asking yourself, should I work now? How should I work? Where should I work? You already know. The system answers for you. All you have to do is step in. Many people resist systems because they think creativity must be wild and unstructured. But the truth is, creativity flourishes in structure. The greatest artists, thinkers, and inventors did not rely on random bursts of inspiration. They built routines. They created rituals. They designed systems that allowed them to sit down day after day and create. Their genius was not just in their ideas. It was in their discipline to show up. So create your ritual. Build your system. Guard your time. Protect your focus. Treat deep work not as an occasional act, but as a way of life. And when you do, something incredible happens. Work that once felt like a burden begins to feel like a flow. Progress that once felt impossible becomes natural. And dreams that once felt distant begin to move closer, step by step, hour by hour, until they're real. The world will continue to be noisy. Distraction will never disappear. But within your rituals, within your systems, you will carve out a space where the noise cannot reach you. A space where you can think, create, build, grow. A space where you are at your best. This is the power of rituals and systems. They turn deep work from a struggle into a lifestyle. They make focus not just possible, but inevitable. And when focus becomes inevitable, greatness becomes unstoppable. There comes a point in the journey where effort begins to transform into reward, where the long hours of focus, the battles against distraction, the rituals and systems you built, all begin to pay off. This is the moment when deep work stops feeling like a struggle and begins to reveal its gifts. And those gifts are not small. They are the kind that change lives. The first reward of deep work is mastery. To master anything in life requires immersion. You cannot become great by touching something lightly and moving on. Mastery demands depth. It demands that you give yourself fully, that you stay long enough to understand the details, the nuances, the hidden patterns that only reveal themselves after hours of attention. Most people never get there because they never stay long enough. They skim, they dabble, they move on too quickly. But the one who stays, the one who digs deeper, discovers layers of skill that others cannot even see. Think of a pianist who has practiced scales for thousands of hours. To others, it looks repetitive, maybe even boring. But to her, every note reveals something new. She has gone so deep into her craft that she can feel the music in her bones. This is mastery, and it cannot be rushed. It is the gift of persistence, the result of deep work. The second reward is creativity. People often think creativity is about freedom, about being unstructured and spontaneous. But true creativity comes from focus. It comes from sitting long enough with an idea until it reveals its hidden connections. When you give your mind space and silence, when you push past the shallow distractions, you begin to see patterns that others miss. You connect ideas that others overlook. And suddenly, you are creating something not just different, but original. The world does not reward shallow creativity, the kind that copies what has already been done. The world rewards depth. The inventions, the breakthroughs, the works of art that stand the test of time. They are the result of deep, focused creativity. When you work deeply, you enter a state where your mind becomes fertile ground, where ideas grow and expand in ways they never could in a distracted mind. The third reward is success. In a noisy world where most people live on the surface, the one who dives deep quickly stands out. Employers, clients, audiences, they all crave results. And results come from focus. If you can produce work of high quality, work that few others are capable of producing, you will always have an advantage. Deep work makes you valuable. It gives you a skill set that cannot be replaced easily, not even by technology, not even by machines. Think about it. If everyone else around you is distracted, giving only fragments of their attention, and you give your full attention, who will rise faster? If others are producing average results in shallow time, and you're producing excellence in deep time, who will be remembered? Success belongs to the one who dares to focus when others drift. But beyond mastery, beyond creativity, beyond success, there's a reward even greater: fulfillment. Because deep work does not just change what you create, it changes who you are. It gives you a sense of purpose, of meaning, of pride in what you bring into the world. It allows you to look at your days and know that you did not waste them, that you gave your best, that you built something real, something lasting. Shallow living leaves you restless. You scroll, you click, you consume, but at the end of the day, you feel empty. Nothing has been built. Nothing has grown. Nothing has moved you closer to the person you want to be. But deep living fills you with peace. You end the day not just tired, but satisfied. Not just busy, but accomplished. You lay your head down knowing that your time was spent on something that mattered. This fulfillment is rare in a world that runs on distraction. And that is why it is so precious. When you choose deep work, you're not just choosing productivity. You are choosing a life of meaning. You are choosing to align your actions with your values. You are choosing to invest your time, the most limited resource you have, into something that will outlast you. And here is the most beautiful truth. The rewards of deep work compound. Mastery leads to creativity. Creativity leads to success. Success leads to fulfillment. And fulfillment fuels more mastery. It becomes a cycle of growth, a spiral that carries you upward, higher and higher, into the life you were meant to live. Ask yourself, what kind of rewards do you want from your life? Do you want the shallow satisfaction of a few likes, a few fleeting distractions, a few moments of comfort? Or do you want the deep rewards of mastery, of creation, of true success, of lasting fulfillment? The choice is yours, and you make it every day with how you spend your attention. The rewards will not come instantly. They are not designed to. They are designed to be earned, to be worthy of the effort. That is why they matter. That is why they last. Every moment of focus is a seed. At first you see nothing, but over time, the seeds grow into something bigger than you imagined. That is the promise of deep work. What you plant with discipline, you harvest with greatness. So when the work feels heavy, when the distractions feel tempting, remember the rewards. Remember the pianist lost in her music. Remember the inventor holding a breakthrough in his hands. Remember the artist seeing her vision come to life. Remember the person who looks back at a lifetime not wasted, but well lived. That person can be you. Deep work will test you, but it will also transform you. It will take your time, but it will give you back a life of meaning. It will challenge you, but it will reward you beyond measure. And when you choose it, you are choosing not just a way to work, but a way to live. There comes a moment in every life when you must decide what kind of person you want to be. Not the image you show the world, not the mask you wear, but the truth of how you live your days. Because how you live your days is how you live your life. And every day, you have a choice to live shallow or to live deep. The shallow path is easy. It tempts you with comfort, with distraction, with a quick escape of noise. It asks nothing of you but takes everything from you, your time, your focus, your potential. You drift, you scroll, you consume. And at the end of it all, you look back and wonder where the years went, why the dreams never came alive, why the life you wanted never became real. The deep path is harder. It asks for effort, for discipline, for sacrifice. It demands that you resist the world's noise and choose your own silence. It requires you to sit with difficulty, to stay when others leave, to focus when others surrender. But the deep path gives back more than it takes. It gives you mastery. It gives you creativity. It gives you success. It gives you fulfillment. Most of all, it gives you the peace of knowing that your life was not wasted. Ask yourself, which path will you choose? Deep work is not just about productivity. It is not just about getting more done. It is about becoming the kind of person who lives with intention, the kind of person who respects their own time, the kind of person who chooses meaning over noise, creation over consumption, depth over distraction. When you choose deep work, you are choosing to live awake in a world that sleeps. You are choosing to build while others waste. You are choosing to write a story that will outlast you. And make no mistake, your story matters. Every focused moment adds a line. Every day of discipline adds a page. Every year of deep work writes a chapter, and together, they tell the story of a life that meant something. But here's the truth. No one can walk this path for you. Not me, not a book, not a mentor. Only you. You must decide that your focus is worth fighting for. You must decide that your potential is worth protecting. You must decide that your life is worth living deeply. It begins with one choice. One moment when you silence the noise, when you put aside the distractions, when you commit to the work that matters. That choice becomes a habit. That habit becomes a system. That system becomes a way of life. And that way of life becomes your legacy. Do not wait. The world will always offer distractions. The perfect time will never come. If you wait until you feel ready, you will wait forever. Begin now. Choose one task, one project, one dream. Give it your full attention. Protect it with everything you have. And tomorrow, do it again and again until deep work is no longer something you do. It is who you are. Imagine yourself 1 year from now, looking back. If you live shallowly, nothing will have changed. But if you live deeply, everything will have changed. You will have built something real. You will have grown into someone stronger, wiser, more focused. You will stand taller, speak clearer, live fuller. That future is waiting for you. And it begins with the choices you make today. So I ask you now, will you let distraction define you or will you rise above it? Will you waste your time or will you invest it? Will you drift with the current or will you swim against it to reach the shore of your true potential? The world does not need more distracted people. It does not need more noise, more chaos, more shallow living. The world needs people who go deep, people who master their craft, people who build, who create, who focus, people who choose meaning over comfort. The world needs you. So rise, choose the deep path, commit to your work, guard your focus, build your rituals, trust the process, resist the noise, and every day, every hour, every moment, choose depth. Because in the end, your life will be measured not by how much you consumed, but by how much you created. Not by how much noise surrounded you, but by how much meaning you built. Not by how distracted you were, but by how deeply you lived. This is your moment. This is your choice. Step into it. Live deeply. Work deeply. And become the person you were always meant to be.